want to call the April 20th Sanitary District Board meeting to order. We'll start with Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can I get a roll call?
Ken Gambala,
Yes.
Kim Kroll,
Here.
Richard Setlick,
Here?
Patricia Sims-Smirchik,
Here.
Robert Kometz,
Here.
David Westland,
Present.
Wayne Pondinas.
Present.
Okay, item number 4, approval of minutes. Can I get a motion to approve the March 16th regular meeting minutes?
So moved.
I'll second.
Roll call, Jason.
Ken Gambala,
Yes.
Kim Kroll,
Yes.
Richard Setlick,
Yes.
Patricia Sims-Smirchik,
Yes.
Robert Kometz.
Yes. It's approved. Can I get a motion to approve the March 23rd special meeting minutes?
So moved.
Second?
Roll call.
Ken Gambala,
Yes.
Kim Kroll,
Yes.
Richard Setlick,
Yes.
Patricia Sims-Smirchik,
Yes.
Robert Kometz.
Yes. And can I get a motion to approve the March 31st, 2021 special meeting minutes?
So moved.
I will second.
Roll call, please.
Ken Gambala,
Yes.
Kim Kroll,
Yes.
Richard Setlick,
Abstain, I wasn't here.
Patricia Sims-Smirchik,
Yes.
Robert Kometz.
Yes. All right, minutes are approved. Okay, so we'll move on to number 5, new business. So we consider allowing the sanitary district president to sign the previously approved agreement with Grimmerkin for the US Highway 41 utility relocation project. This was an agreement that was originated back then of the sanitary district. So we're looking for a motion to allow the president to sign this.
So moved.
Second?
Patty made the motion, Richard Setlick seconded.
Yes.
Ken Gambala,
Yes.
Kim Kroll,
Yes.
Richard Setlick,
Yes.
Patricia Sims-Smirchik,
Yes.
Robert Kometz.
Yes. Motion passes.
Can I just add one thing since it's on the 41 utility relocation? But what I'd like to see in future meetings, actually, I wouldn't mind getting an email about it, but it's an update on where that project stands. Because I was looking back that it was presented with a great deal of urgency and said it had, get it done 60 days. That was in May of last year. Now we're almost a year later, and I don't know where it stands. But something to the effect of the percent of completion of the work, the percentage of the total cost that's already been paid out. There was some mention about preliminary kind of O's and D's, omissions and defects. Because I know there's one, he said before, is holding off until the end regarding the telephone. And I already mentioned about the urgency. But I'd like that thing to be done. And it's a matter of finding out from Haas.
Wayne, can we get
Is that the Grimmer project you're talking about?
Yeah,
The Grimmer project looks like it's done by looking at the way the grass is and everything, except that one street where they blocked off. It looks like that has to be paved and fixed a little bit, but I think that part's done. The part where they, on the other side, where they had to move the sanitary main, that's done. They finished that. That's all been grass, grass is all
I
planted
would
and
just like
stuff.
something from
Right, and I understand.
engineer about percentage of completion, and is it done, and are they all paid? And then what happened to anything left over? Is it all completely done? And I'd like something from them.
Can we get that from the engineer? I
From
think-
Haas, okay.
So you're looking for the contract amount, what we build out, percentage complete,
Right, and the work, if there's anything left,
work remaining.
and what if anything remains? Did they get anything back, final negotiations about omissions, defects, that sort of thing?
Is the town getting that information right now, Wayne, or like monthly reports, status updates?
I can't answer that for sure. I'm not positive. I'm sure they probably do. I'm sure Beth is on it because they have to pay the bills, but
Okay.
I don't want to speak out of turn.
If you can arrange to have that, we're probably gonna want that for the SCADA system too, when that gets moving as well, for any of the projects that we're approving money for.
That's a rather straightforward, simple way of objectively knowing how the project is going, in terms of how much it's costing and has the work actually been done by somebody who would know, which would be the engineer, that's what they're hired.
Right, okay. And he was just here, but I'll call him
Okay.
and we'll get some answers.
All right, thanks, Wayne. Okay, item B, consider waiver of St. John utility connection regarding property located approximately 1,330 feet south of Route 231 on US 41, as detailed in the correspondence from Weiser and Wiley LLP. So this is a piece of property that, if I remember right, Mr. Westland, it's not touching the St. John border, but Lake County is requesting us to sign a waiver.
That's correct. And I see Mr. Weiser in the audience. I don't know if you had a chance to confirm that his letter with staff, but I think it is pretty clear that it's not in our area.
Okay. Any questions on that?
Oh, just confirmation on my part, I think I'm looking at it right, but that property is just south, on the east side, but just south of that prairie and whatever.
West side.
Yes, that,
Yeah, you're
Mr.
right.
Chairman,
East
if
side
I could
south of
answer-
the
oh,
prairie
someone-
property line.
someone's talking. Yeah, the property's located south of Bee Sucker Preserve. It's on the east side of 41, and it's about 1,300, give or take, 30 feet from the St. John town line.
The town line, okay.
Correct. But I'm sorry?
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yes. And, yes.
11101.
That's
That-
probably give or take.
Yeah, and it goes all the way back to, it's actually all those parcels that go all the way back to the railroad tracks,
Right.
and then continue south and then come back around. So it's a fairly large portion, and I'm sorry, I suppose I should introduce myself. My name's Jim Weiser. I'm my partner and I are the attorneys for this project. The county has developed a policy in the last 10 years or so that if there's property located, it's supposed to be contiguous to a community, but if it's, I guess, nearby a community that has municipal water, or in this case, municipal sewer, they encourage that sewer be extended, or that the petitioner tie into the sewer, as opposed to doing it on septic and well, if they can avoid that, and if it works out, and if they're within that orbit of contiguity. In this case, I'm not quite sure why the county required us to be here, because this isn't contiguous, but they required us to get a letter from the sanitary board that said, at this point in time, it is not the intention, for lack of a better term, for the sewer to be extended. And then that way we can go ahead. It's going to be climate controlled and some non-controlled storage, personal storage, self-storage, and it's only going to have two facilities that are going to require sanitary, two washrooms that are going to require sanitary. But they required us to be here, so that's why we're here.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Do you guys have any questions? All
Yeah,
right,
I would,
what was it?
I would ask, not to be technical, but the waiver be changed from St. John utility to St. John sewer connection. In fact, the utility would include water, and that would have to be under the water board. And I think that just Mr. Weiser's asking for is sewer anyhow, sewer connection.
Yeah, that's correct, Ken.
No, that's,
Yeah,
okay.
you're right, Ken.
Yeah, there used to be a utility board the town had, which did both, town council, it was members.
Yeah,
That's been disbanded. So
Yeah,
now it's two
yeah.
separate boards. So,
Yeah, that was back in the good old days when our law firm represented that board.
yeah, that's right. I remember
And
that.
Patty was on that board,
Yes,
as a
I
matter of
was.
fact.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
Ken was on the board.
Yeah. Are you
So,
looking for a motion?
Ken?
Mr. President, I just want to ask a question, Mr. Weiser, you said there's going to be bathrooms there?
Two.
Two, okay, now, where's the sanitary line? Where's our you're going to have to connect to our sanitary line, right?
No, it's going to be septic.
Septic.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry.
Oh, no
Sorry.
problem.
Oh,
No
I
problem.
stand corrected. I'm
Sure.
sorry.
No problem, Wayne.
Thank you.
and this is a quarter mile south of our boundary.
It is.
Wayne, Wayne, that's what he's asking permission for,
Right.
what the county's confirming that we don't have a problem with.
Yeah, I got it, Dave. I just misunderstood. I'm sorry.
Right.
Okay. Ken, was your recommendation to change some wording on that?
Well, I would, if I was making the motion, it would be a waiver of connection to the St. John Sewer District.
Okay, so,
Sewer connection, not utility connection.
okay, so Ken has made the motion. Can I get a second?
I'll second it.
Roll call, please.
Ken Gambala,
Yes,
Kim Kroll,
Yes.
Richard Setlack,
Yes?
Patricia Sims Smirchek,
Yes.
Robert Kometz.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. Just a practical question. We have to submit the advertising for the public hearing by Friday, and the county requires us to provide them the letter by Friday, so they'll issue that. Is there someone who actually physically will prepare that letter that we could possibly pick up? I know that's,
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Westland?
do you want me to send the letter on behalf of the sanitary district, responding to Mr. Weiser's letter and confirming the action that was taken tonight?
That would be good. Do we need a motion to authorize you to sign that letter on behalf of us?
No, I think the action tonight is sufficient authority. I would just be confirming what you guys have done and what is a matter of record.
Okay. Yeah, that would be great.
I just, in a way to expedite things for Mr. Weiser, I think I can probably get a letter out to him tomorrow, if not, certainly by Thursday, and he would have it by Friday, as opposed to try to get staff to do it.
I think you would appreciate that.
I greatly appreciate that. Thank you, Mr. Westland. That's the first time you've ever helped me with anything.
Well, after you're so kind about your prior representation of this body, it's the least I could do.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Good to see you again.
We'll see you.
All right, so we'll move on to item number C. Consider a sewer credit in the amount of $1,364.58 for Michael Naughton at 10625 Wicker Avenue. Mr. Naughton incurred extra sewer charges due to a pipe that burst in his crawl space. He's requesting the board waive the sewer charges due to additional water usage incurred from the burst pipe. So we're looking for a motion to grant the sewer credit in the amount of $1,364.58.
yes. Yeah, we've always done this. I'll make the motion to grant the sewer credit of $1,364.58.
Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Ken Gambala,
Yes,
Kim Kroll,
Yes.
Richard Setlack,
Yes?
Patricia Sims Smirchek,
Yes.
Robert Kometz.
Yes. All right, motion passes. Item number 6, reports and correspondence. We have no reports and correspondence. I'll move on to payment of bills.
Can I backtrack a little bit?
You can.
On the reports? It's something I wanted to explore and just run it by the people here, but I guess the area is mitigation of the sanitary district expenses. And what I'm looking at is mainly the sewer charges that go to Sherrville. There's some stuff, we thought about a lot of times about infiltration, and to see if that is any, to check on some things and readings to see if that is potentially a significant amount. And the infiltration is basically surface water that we're sending to Sherrville to process, like sewage. And it can make a difference. During the tour, as a matter of fact, that I had, got some indications that there are times, might be equating to storm times or whatever else, but there is, based on flows and getting things from Sherrville saying slow down the rate and this and that, you're putting in too much. It's coming from somewhere. I doubt if, ideally, the system is closed. What we put into the water lines goes into the sewer, ideally, but that's just that, ideal. The surface drainage, I don't know where it's coming from, but there's a matter of, I'd like to explore finding out if there is any significance to it, and then with the help of people in town, I'd contact them, see what's available, and also the clerk treasurer in terms of how much we're billed and the billing rates, that sort of thing. Seeing if there's any significance, and then ways to mitigate that, which is kind of a mystery right now. But
Are you talking about the infiltration?
I'm sorry?
The infiltration, is that what
Yes,
you're asking?
yeah.
This was brought up going back when we did the original contract with Sherrville to treat our sewage. It was a sticking item that finally was resolved and unfortunately was accepted by both towns. But there was no way to measure it. And that they were going to pay, there's a meter pit, as you know. And whatever that meter says per gallon, no matter where it's coming from in St. John, where unfortunately we have to pay for it. So you'd have to open up the contract somehow again, to try and do that and just pay for what we believe is,
it's not a matter
water
of what we
coming from the
believe.
water.
There's a matter of finding where the water is leaking into the sewage lines and blocking that off. The flow will be measured just the way it always is. It's not changing that at all. But I think there's a problem if we're pumping, let's say 20 million, I don't know what it is, but let's say 20 million gallons into the water system, but paying for proper processing of 80 million gallons. I think
we're
there's,
pumping 4 times infiltration.
yeah, that's right. I mean, that's making it blatantly obvious. And I'm sure you're never going to get it down to everything. But to see if there's any significance and does it pay to try and mitigate that sum, the payment comes by reducing the amount you have to pay to, that's not metered to Sherrville because it's not going into the sanitary lines. And it's just exploring that possibility. And that's,
Yeah.
Wayne, are you aware of any way to measure that?
Yeah.
I'd probably be just
From an
talking out
engineering
of,
standpoint,
out of term, but there are ways to do that, and it's expensive. I can ask, I took down some notes, I can get
right
with,
now, I'm only looking to see if there is any, if it's even a significant problem from the outside. Saying about what goes in the system, what we're paying, what goes in, what goes out.
You wouldn't know until you measured it.
Correct.
and we know what we pump.
We know what we pump,
And we have to allow for water main problems.
We know what we go-
That escape us, and
know
then
what goes
compare with
into-
the billing.
But we know what goes into Sherrville too.
And then we can look and see what Sherrville's taking in into their sewer part, and just kind of see, can we change that a little bit, or Rich is trying to say, can we improve that? Maybe, but I'll talk with Bob Valois, our water operator, and find out how that works, if you use smoke, if you use a colored water to see.
Initially, not even into that. It's
Okay.
trying to even see if it is a significant thing. If we're talking, I don't know, 20%, that might not be cost-effective to pursue.
Okay.
But there's a matter to see if it's any significance. I'm not saying to catch every nickel. That's not going to be feasible. There's always going to be some going in. So it's just to explore the possibility.
Can you talk to Bob and let
Yeah,
us
we'll,
know?
we'll check into that.
Because I was going to check with him too about what things he reports and readings and the ins and outs. Because, I'll work with him on that. That's not a big deal. I'm still retired and I play with numbers, so it's okay. But it helps to know where the numbers are.
I'll check with him.
But I can send him an email too. But I just want to let people know here, I don't want to make it like it's a big whatever. But I mean, it's a common thing. Money seems to be a common topic. And it always helps if you don't spend it to begin with. So if we're paying for things unnecessarily, towns to the north, older systems, I mean, that stuff goes back forever, disconnecting downspouts from gutters, from the sewer lines. It's the same thing. They're paying, and it's essentially the same kind of problem of infiltration. We don't have the downspout thing, but I got to think that something is creeping in. I just want to see the extent of the problem. And you can do that with the ins and outs, which you already mentioned. So look at it and see. That's all.
All right.
Wait until I come up with something, you're not surprised, like, what did you do? Where'd that come from? Well, not you, but Patty would say something.
I would.
Yeah.
If you could talk to,
Talk to Bob.
let's see what he says.
But you have noticed the rise in the Cherville's bills since COVID started, because everyone's at home, kids are at home, parents are working at home.
They're working from home, yeah.
Because I've been
That's okay.
looking at the numbers, yeah, and they've gone up about 20%, because
Well, so should
everybody's
the-
home.
But so should the water going in going up.
That makes sense.
So, I mean, that's an even thing. That should stay.
Yeah, but
the
I
same.
do remember many years ago, and I know Wayne will remember, with Bob Fears, and they tried, I mean, they were doing smoke bombs, they were doing, cameras with 600 feet,
Yeah.
trying to figure out where the infiltrations were, and we have infiltrations. We have a, somewhat aging system, and we're gonna have compromise. We just need to find out how bad it
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
And the town engineer will tell you that there's a certain percentage calculated in for infiltration that you can't avoid.
Right.
That the system is not tight. There's no doubt about that. We have places in town that we know that we've had, that are old sewer systems. And that over time, they will leak, they continue to leak even more.
Well, I said that
So as
before. but
Wayne said, to do an extensive thing is very expensive with camera and
All
dye
I'm talking
testing.
about is to see if there's any extent to the problem. I remember seeing things that said the city of New York, their water supply was so old and so decrepit, they were only billing out for 90% or 10% of what they were putting in the pipes. That is not, you can't do that for too long. You go broke.
No.
And I'm just looking at, I guess it's an efficiency thing. And just looking at the problem. I'm not saying doing anything with smoke bombs, digging anything up, nothing like that.
No, I think your point is valid. Let's take a look at it and figure out what the next step is.
And there's always something better. I mean, you just signed up to do a new SCADA system, and somebody could say, well, why? You had one. It didn't work, well, who cares? And this, I'm just saying, I just want to see if there's any extent to the problem. I'm not saying about the cost, not even there yet. Just, is it a problem?
If you could get Bob's opinion on that.
Yeah, I'll get Bob and Bob on it. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Have him get in touch with me too, because I'd like to help him on this stuff
Okay.
and look at it.
You need a hobby.
No, it's just to go back to something I did. It's like build a better mousetrap.
I know. No, it's
It's a
it's a
fishing
valid,
pole.
it's a valid point. Valid
Cost
point.
savings, cost avoidance. We do it every day.
Yeah.
You go to the store, you buy, what's on sale, what isn't on sale.
All right, we'll move back on the payment of bills. So looking at the wastewater, and before I ask for a motion to approve this, one of the questions we'd like to get is some clarification on the Ferguson Waterworks.
That's my
Wayne, if you could look
question.
into that for us. The Allegro under glass for $5,400. And then the last one, the working well for the vaccines. Is that something that we, the health insurance should be paying for, or why are we paying that? Did you guys have any other questions on that docket?
Not
Yeah,
on that
which one are you on?
The wastewater APVs?
Yeah, Ferguson's on the first page, about a third of way down on the front, $5,400. If we could just get clarification
Yeah, it has something to do with the, water meter. MM is master meter. Allegro under glass, that's just the register, but we'll try and find out what that charge is.
Yeah, because if it's water meters, wastewater shouldn't be paying for it. It's underwater.
Or you don't even know if it's split between,
Is it one of those?
You'd almost have to, I would think that you'd have to look at the, request to purchase or the bill, the invoice, and then see what that is. But I know MM master meter Allegro is the register.
Okay.
But what that means, I
Yeah.
can't really say.
Maybe it's one of those items that it's split into three.
It could be.
Yeah. Okay, we just want clarification. Life will be good.
okay. So can I get a motion to approve the wastewater APVs in the amount of $230,565.77?
So moved.
Second?
Roll call, please.
Ken Gambala,
Yes.
Kim Kroll,
Yes.
Richard Setlick,
Yes.
Patricia Sims Summercheck,
Yes.
Robert Kometz.
Yes. And then can I get a motion, or do we have any questions on the sanitary district APVs?
Yeah, that's when I have
Okay.
a couple on. One thing, the Haas and Associates, these aren't big numbers, but it's a matter of putting it in the right spot. 225 miscellaneous drainage complaints. They're talking about sewage drainage or surface drainage? If it's surface drainage, that's not ours.
It could be. It might be that he went out to different addresses and checked stuff with Public Works, but what page is that on? I'll check that out
That's,
too.
the sanitary district APVs, it's the first page, there's only one page. It's $225,
It's dated April 15th.
correct. Because surface drainage, I mean, it's like the guy who was across the street had something. We're not stormwater in surface drainage. And then the other thing is a question about, down there too, the St. John Municipal Utility, the sanitary district / water. Is that water that the sanitary district is paying for?
Where's that at, Rich?
About 2/3 of the way down, 315 St. John Municipal SD Water. Malta Rail is small, 4708 and 4434.
Looks like it's for the Public Works building.
Yeah, 9350 Hack Street Public Works. Okay.
So then maybe you're splitting the water bill between the sanitary and waterworks? You guys are splitting the bill? I don't know.
Is it, can we find that out?
Yeah, I got it marked now.
Yeah,
Okay.
because I'm looking, and it goes along with that, do we in turn then, are they then splitting the sanitary bill for the same locations? If we're splitting the water bill, I think it only stands to reason that the sanitary bill should also be split. And then, well,
Wayne, check to make sure that they didn't just take the whole bill and split
Yeah.
it,
All right.
and just leave it labeled as water.
I think some of these, make a comment, some of these things have come up with the utility board took a lot of this stuff away when it was in effect. When I got rid of it, came back. And now we have these questions about what this stuff is. We didn't get those before. That's back in the good old days when we had the 5-minute meetings, because we didn't have this stuff to deal with. But now it's there, and it's a matter of doing, I guess, diligence about, are these going the right way? It's a matter of what these things are for. I think you made some stuff before about getting an earlier notice, about knowing about these things earlier. I mean, I have a lot of things about a lot of things come through. I mean, we're talking sewers and water. I've never seen stuff come through with such a sense of urgency in my life. Sometimes I have to use the sanitary stuff with a sense of urgency, but on this part, no. This should be rather mundane and flowing along. As I mentioned before, relocation of some utility lines or whatever. No, I gotta do it right now. 60 days, gotta do it. A sense of urgency. Now it's almost a year later. Well, kinda, sorta, maybe. They're about clearing up the roads, this and that.
So,
Just a matter of looking at this, it ends up this stuff isn't that urgent.
I'll send the clerk treasurer an email asking if we can get these the Friday before our Tuesday meetings. And that gives us, if we have questions, we have Monday and Tuesday to get answers.
Then to
on
ask
them.
the office, yeah.
But yeah, if we can get a standing, at the end of the day, Friday, when she cuts her checks or has everything entered, then if she can give us those reports, I think that would solve a lot of our
No,
questions.
hopefully.
Well, and in defense of like Kathy does all this, she puts this all together, the docket. You have piles of paper on her desk and she has to go through that. I mean, and she has to try and figure out, what is this for? Anytime in Public Works, if I was to get something, I would write it down, stock, it was for meters, it was for this. A lot of times they don't do that, and she's got to get all that together, and she has to put this together. She's got a time frame, and she rushes to get this together. So I'll talk with them tomorrow and find out and
There's
get the
some of that
answers.
about that process.
Yeah.
About like when you build a house, you don't put on the roof before you put the foundation.
Right.
And so it's a matter of, shouldn't somebody who's more familiar with the expenses, like in Public Works, because the water department, I don't think has any full-time clerical people that would do any of this stuff. But they would look at any of the billings and make the assignments about this is this or this is that. Since I'm assuming a lot of the purchases originate from those places, they're the ones asking to buy the stuff.
Well, I think if you look at this, the last column where it has the address and stuff for like Hack Street, there's a lot of that stuff that it's under request to purchase. So she can't, she's putting on these little lines. You can't write all that in there, because I would go to meetings and, okay, I know what this master meter one is, 10,400. It's for registers, so I can understand it. She goes through this, it's got all the different lift stations on here. It's probably for electric, but there's more on that paperwork than what you see here. So I'll get back with Kathy and ask her and get
I
back
know,
with
but
you.
I'm saying, instead of dumping it all on somebody, if you have a division of labor, if you have somebody else doing some classification, they send it over here in bundles, saying this is for this is for that. It's not a big pile that somebody over here has to go through periodically, and sort. It's a matter like the post office. It comes off the truck and everybody just gets a bag full. Here, go deliver it. But it's all over town. You gotta sort it and get it in its right order. So I part of the process, which I've been trying to understand St. John's for a long time, and I'm not able to. I don't know how this stuff flows, how it gets from one spot to another. I know who pays the bills, but they write the checks. And there's some other things it leaves me wondering how stuff gets done, and why it doesn't flow easier, or some things moving backwards. Because a lot of these things, I look at 2/3 of the minutes we approved because things move backwards. That things were approved, we're the ones should get things first and send it on up to the council. We're stuck with something that the council does and it comes back down. We don't know anything about it. And then you have all these time things and we have to meet and all this kind of stuff. Kind of like a matter if everybody's going the same way down a one-way street and somebody's going the other way. Kind of screws things up.
Yeah, if we could get those on Friday, I think that would solve a lot of the questions.
Okay.
All right, can I get a motion to approve the sanitary district APVs in the amount of $17,050.94?
So moved.
I will second.
A roll call, please.
Yes.
Kim Crow,
Yes.
Richard Sutcliffe,
Yes?
Patricia Sims Zerwitscher,
Yes.
Robert Clements.
Yes. All right, we'll move on to public comment. Seeing there's no public here to comment, we'll move on to adjournment. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
I have one comment.
Oh, go ahead, Ken.
I would just ask as a member to the rest of the board to consider moving our meetings to a different night, since the park board now is in front of us. And we may be starting 7, 8 o'clock. And our meetings are usually short. So it used to be the park board was on a different night. I would like to see then that I'm available on any night. So if, just consider it, I'm not asking for any motion tonight or anything. If that's okay with the rest of the board, so that we could go back to having our meeting starting at 6 and usually short anyhow, rather than not knowing when our meetings are going to start.
Yeah, I would be open to that, or even moving our meeting back up to 6, figuring that the park board will gradually get back into their,
Or have the park board on a different evening, because we really should have our sanitary board and water together.
Right, but I think
agree with that.
the last few times that the park board, they had a lot of public comment and about the skate park. But if you reverse it, the reason why they wanted to go first is because your two boards
Right.
took up a lot of time, and they didn't start till like 8 o'clock, and they were patient. So I think if
Yeah,
you leave it
but
like
that
it is
way-
right now, I think you'll see where the park board, it was a
No.
little, it would have been on
We-
time, I think, more so. But the one gentleman spoke for a while. His heart was in it, and you guys might have heard part of that or not, I don't know. I think you could leave it like it is for now, Kenny. You're not gonna, I know
I
you wanna
think
start at
that's not
exactly
gonna
6
work,
o'clock, but that's kinda hard when you got a board in front of you. And they ran over about 12 or 15 minutes, I think. So it wasn't that bad. I mean, sorry for the delay, but they had more people than
They did last
what they expected, I think, and more public comment.
Well, they went over last month. We didn't know when we were going to start. If they're going to have a 5 o'clock meeting and go to whatever, 6:37, 7:30, then we should be on a different night. If that's the way, that's the way it so be that they're going to go first, then I don't have a problem in this changing nights and having the water and sanitary on a different night.
yeah, we would have
Because
to-
normally, the only reason our meetings have been longer the last few times is because of SCADA and improvements. But normally, we go back, as you know, the rest of the board, most of our meetings are over 10 to 15 minutes for sanitary and waterworks. So I'm still going to ask for all of you to consider that, to move it to a different night, if the park board's going to be first.
Yeah, I would be open to that. It's something we'll discuss, I think is
We'll see
important.
how it goes next month.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see what next month brings, Ken, and then we could sit and, if there's a night that works better for all of us, yeah, we can consider that. Any other questions, comments? Can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
So moved.
Second.
Second,
Roll call?
Ken Gambala,
yes.
Kim Kroll,
Yes.
Richard Setlick,
Yes?
Patricia Sims Sirmirchuk,
Yes.